Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your girl Sarah Donald. I hope everybody's doing well, feeling great. So today I want to talk about like some things I wish I knew before I moved to Lagos, Nigeria. So it's going to be more like the negative things or the things I wish could be better or were different. And for a lot of these things, I wasn't aware of it until I moved to Lagos. Now, even while I was in Nigeria, before I moved abroad, I wasn't living in Lagos. I was living in Enugu. So for me, a lot of these things came as a shock. And please, I want to put a disclaimer. In case you're finding this channel for the first time, maybe you just got on this channel for the first time and you don't know me, I am pro-Nigeria. I love Nigeria. I talk about Nigeria. I help people move to Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian girl who moved abroad and I'm back to Nigeria. So in case this is the first channel of you coming on and it feels like I'm talking about the negative things, you know, people are like, oh, if it's bad, why not be here? Why not be here? No. This is not that channel. If anything, you guys even accuse me of focusing so much on the positives, as it should be, but it's still very important that we prepare people who are looking to move to Lagos. Now, a lot of these things I'm going to be saying happens also in some parts of Nigeria, but I'm focusing today on Lagos. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. The first one on my list is housing. Yes, finding a house in Lagos is like, it's an extreme sport, especially if you've lived abroad, right? I mean, I remember finding my house in the UK, finding my house in America was so easy. I just went on the website, saw the listing, saw the ones that were not available, saw the ones that were available, looked at it, liked it, and I paid for it. But in Nigeria, it's not that straightforward. Even when you go to a site that is listing these houses, you realize that there is this thing we have a lot in Nigeria, agents that are not just for buying, for also renting. So what these landlords do or homeowners do is that for one house they want to rent out, they give it to like 5 different agents. So 5 different agents on one house. The first agent has probably gotten a buyer or gotten someone to rent the house, and the agent you found is not aware of this. So you like the house, you view the place, you're like, okay, I want to pay for it. You're about to pay. Then the agent was like, oh, sorry, they just told us that it's been rented. No, it's been rented since. You are just not aware because you're not the original agent. So that can be really frustrating. Another thing is like the agents are not professional. So a lot of agents that I have dealt with in Lagos personally, and I know people have complained about this a whole lot, whether it's agents that help with domestic staff, whether it's a lot of agents are just into it like, okay, this is a good way to make money, but a lot of them have not studied it and are not professional, because you send an agent a list of your must-haves. Okay, I want this place to be in a place like this, I want it to be in a place like this. The agent will say, okay, got you. I want to show you somewhere tomorrow. They take you to something that is completely against what you're for, like everything. And you're like, but I asked for this thing. And they just even looked at me. One time I said I needed a 4-bedroom because I have a business and I wanted to use that space for my office. And the agent took me to a 3-bedroom and said, oh, you can rent somewhere else and put your office there. So you're the one that is going to pay for that or that place for me. So it can be really frustrating. And a whole lot of them take supervision, what do you call that fee again? Forgotten the fee, inspection fee. So for everywhere you view, some of them make you pay inspection fee. So this is also their own quick way of making money, taking you to places to go and inspect when they know that this is probably above your budget or doesn't fit. So that part can be really frustrating. Another thing is how Lagos is compared to where I'm coming from. So for example, right, when I was living in Enugu, if I was looking for a house, I would just be bothered about, okay, is it safe? Is it what I'm looking for? But in Lagos, location matters a whole lot. So when you look at things like someone say, oh, I just want to live on the island or I want to live on the mainland, the first thing I ask them is, what's your day-to-day like? Where do you work? Do you work from home? Because these things matter when you're looking for a house in Lagos. You might say, oh yes, I want to live on the island. And then you work in Ikeja, but you live in Shangotedo. You're either going to fall sick, you're going to quit that job. Like, it's going to be the most tedious thing you've ever done. So with Lagos, because of the traffic and the way it's structured, like everywhere is literally far from every other place because of traffic. A 5-minute drive can take you like 10 minutes. Oh, I say 10 minutes. A 5-minute drive might take you 20-30 minutes, right? So these things also make it difficult when you're looking for a house. You're not just looking for a house, you're looking for a house that serves that purpose. Like let's say you're working in VI, so you're looking, even if you want to stay on the mainland, you're looking for something that will be easy to get to VI. If you're on the island, you're looking for something that's also easy to get to VI. So these are things you need to think about, which makes the experience more difficult, because either you cannot afford where you want to stay, or you're not finding the kind of houses you want to find in that, like where is convenient for you. So it's almost like, I think I've not gotten any house in Lagos, including the house I live in now, the house I currently bought. I've not gone to any house where I'm like, this is exactly what I want. No, I had to compromise one or two things. I haven't. I had to have a must-have, right? And every stage of my life, it changed. When I was working 9 to 5, of course, location close to the office was, how far it would take me to get to the office was very important. Working from home, 24-hour light was extremely important to me. So at every stage in my life, I had something different, but I realized that I had to compromise on one or two things to just like, okay, this can go. So it's very tedious. Another thing about housing is that our houses are not furnished. So basically, I know someone asked me this question when I did a video about land and said, so that means you still need money for fencing. Yes, that's the same thing. So when you're thinking about your budget, when you're giving an agent your budget, think about the agency fee, think about the caution fee, think about furnishing. That will help you bring your budget. So if your budget is $5,000, let them know that the $5,000 example, right, covers everything. Not like they want to know how much are you willing to spend. That not furnishing, but including the agency and all that. Because I've seen people who said, oh, my budget is 2 million, and the agent found them a place of 2 million, and then they send them total package, which is caution fee, agency fee, and legal, and they were like, oh, I didn't budget for that, or everything I have is 2 million. So if everything you have is 2 million, that means you're looking for a place of 1.5, so that 500,000 can cover every other thing. Does that make sense? So getting a house in Lagos, I always tell people, if you're here for like a year and you can afford it, and you know that maybe you just want to take a gap year or career year and just move to Nigeria, make sure you get like an Airbnb. It is easier. But if you want to move and stay long, of course, furnish it by yourself. But the thing with Airbnb and short lets is that they are already furnished. Yeah, houses in Nigeria, some of them come with, like, you might be lucky. I mean, I've been to a house that came with like the gas cooker, right, and microwave. But I've also been to one that did not come with no gas cooker, nothing. Like, you're going to buy every single thing. In fact, this particular house did not even have net fitting. Can you imagine? They haven't even fit the net. It says when you pay. So yes, and that's another trap. They tell you when you pay, forget it. Very few honest landlords. So housing is something that we can speak on. In fact, my channel is dedicated to that. We can speak about that for a very long time. Another thing is workable. I know another creator said this, and people went back and forth with her. I don't understand why, because I fully agree. You cannot work in Lagos. Workable, like, if you're someone that loves to take walks, and I am someone that loves to take walks. In fact, when I was in uni in the UK, I walked to school. That's how much I loved my school to be around where I live. In America, when I was in Burbank, I used to walk. It was my best moment. I walked to the supermarket. I walked to Trader's Joe. I walked to school. Before I take maybe like take a taxi or drive to school, you know that maybe we'll have a presentation and I have to wear heels or something. But even if not that, I love to put my headphones and walk. But to walk in Nigeria, in Lagos, few times that I've tried it, no. Because you can literally see a car climbing on the, what do you call the slabs that they make for walking. You're struggling with a bike person there. A bike man is trying to beat traffic and he's climbing on top of them. A bus is trying to beat traffic, he's climbing on top of there. So you can't even concentrate. Even the sidewalks that have been kept for walk, cars are climbing there, cars are parked there. Like, it is crazy. It is so unworkable. So I don't understand how they were arguing with her. I know that even when Tayo was about to relocate, this is part of the things that he mentioned, when he was like, sometimes he just wants to take a long walk. It is so difficult. Yes, even the traffic lights. Can you imagine that? Like, traffic light, like the light is red. You have to check well, because one bus driver, especially the bus drivers, will now decide that that time is red is when he wants to pass. So it's so difficult. Like, so what I do is that I try to stay and I think I've been lucky to stay in estates where I am able to walk around the estate. So if you're someone that loves to walk, try and stay in a big estate so that you can walk around the estate. Yeah, so it's, I don't know, it wasn't designed to work. Another thing is electricity, and the creator mentioned this is why I'm mentioning electricity. She said that when she said electricity, people came for her and they said it's changing. I'm not going to lie, I'm making this video in 2025. The way electricity has changed compared to last year, last 2 years, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, it has changed drastically. In fact, this actor put up something that his generator guy sent him a message saying that he needed money because people don't use generator that much again, and he hasn't been able to get a job. It's actually true. Like, it's expensive now compared to before, but we have lights now more than before. That's true. But it's also true that we do not have 24 hours light. So for you to have 24 hours light, you need to do what I did. You need to stay in an estate that gives you 24 hours light. Now, what that means is that you're paying higher. So if NEPA is 92 naira, our tariff is like 100 and something. Some estate tariffs 200, 300, it's higher because they're giving you 24-hour light. You need to have inverter, you need to have solar. So we haven't gotten to that point where you just move somewhere without all these things and expect 24 hours light. Yes, like I said, it's better in some states. It's even better in some areas because I have a friend that moved and she doesn't have a generator. She doesn't live in an estate. And I asked why. She said in a day she gets at least 18 hours light, sometimes 20. And for her, that's good enough. But so you see, we haven't gotten to that full 24 hours. So yes, people are right that it has really changed and it has gotten better. Just that it's expensive. People that live abroad understand it because they've been paying high bills for a long time. For Nigeria, it's new to us having to pay that amount of money. But the good thing again is that it's meter. So it's not like before where they just give you one estimated bill and tell you that this is what you spent. No, it's meter. If you load $200, you use what of $200. If you load $100, $50, it's in your hand now what you load, and you can literally like control your spending based on what you have on and stuff like that. So yes, it's still something that I cannot wait for us to actually have 24 hours light without having to live in estates that give 24 hours light and without having to have inverter and solar and all that. So yeah, this is something you also have to prepare for, especially if you're coming from the diaspora where you're already used to 24 hours light. If you can afford it, make sure you're coming prepared with your solar inverter. You're coming to fix all that, especially if you're coming with your kids, your family, and you guys want that to replicate that life abroad. Even in an estate that promises you 24 hours light, still make sure you have a plan B. Yes, in Nigeria, your plan B needs, your backup needs a backup. The next one is traffic. I've never experienced the kind of traffic that I experience in Lagos. In fact, not having a 9-to-5 job makes me so happy. I think that's why I'm still able to live here, because I can literally stay in my house for an entire month and not leave. Because Lagos traffic is not your mate. Lagos traffic is crazy. Like, I am telling you, you might have an appointment by 3 p.m. and if that appointment is so important that you must be on time, you might see yourself leaving your house at 9 to make a 3 p.m. appointment. Now, if you're coming from where I'm coming from, you can leave at 2:30 and you'll be on time, very much on time. Lagos traffic is unpredictable because they have less roads. Like, the roads are not, they have more houses and less roads. So like, for example, like when I used to live in Enugu, everywhere connects. So I can live in Independence Layout and working in New Haven, and through the back of my house I can get into New Haven. Everywhere connects. It's so easy. But in Lagos, we don't have roads that much. Everybody might go into Lekki and everybody will use the same way, one way in, one way out. So if a car breaks down there or something, we don't have a lot of alternative routes, which I'm hoping that they open up more roads. And the next one is transportation, which really causes the traffic. If you're moving to Lagos and you don't have your own car, you're going to spend so much on transportation. Commercial vehicles are not the best. Yes, that is something that, even though right now we have a train, but it's not going through every route, and it's still not enough. We have more people. Lagos has over 25 million people. I mean, that's bigger than a lot of countries. You know what I mean? So and everybody is driving. it's not like America, UK, where, you know, maybe we are four in an estate and four of us to decide since we are going to the same direction. No, the four people in that estate will have cars. The wife will have a car, the husband will have a car, the children will have their own car, and they are all driving. Yes, and remember, we had subsidy for a very long time. So for a very long time, fuel was very affordable. So everybody was driving, and everybody is still driving. So there's so much cars on the road in Lagos at the same time. So Lagos traffic is something you have to be prepared for. If you're not prepared for Lagos traffic, you will miss your appointments. Like, trust me, especially if you're coming from a place where you're not used to traffic. Another thing about Lagos is hiring domestic staff. I know I said in my last video that I was going to make a video on how you can do this, and I am still working on it because I want to get the right information, because even for me, it was not easy. Yes, I have good staff now, but I just realized something when I was about to make the video, that the same agent that gave me this staff that I like is the same one that's been giving me even the ones I don't like. So is it like a thing of luck or what? I don't know. So hiring domestic staff can be very difficult because a lot of them come from the east or, you know, different parts to come to Lagos and hustle. So for them, they see it like hustle. If you're paying someone 100,000, someone else says, oh, there's a job open for 110,000, they collect their salary, they move to that other place. But I know a lot of people say, oh, it's the same everywhere. Yes, it's the same, but it's worse in Lagos because, like, in the east, they don't have that much hiring opportunity like Lagos. Yes, everybody has, like, almost everybody has the maid, the nanny, this, that, but east has a lot of family members that help. Do you get what I mean? So yes, it's so difficult hiring staff, domestic staff in Lagos, again because of the transportation system, especially if you don't have accommodation for them. So that's why some of them quit. It's not necessarily because they don't like the work, but by the time they come and realize that everything they have, they're spending it on transportation, because you might live where you live, they probably cannot afford that area, so they're coming from a very far place. Or there is this thing now they do, like in Lekki, where all these lands that people bought but they're not ready to build in, they will build like tents and rent it out like on a daily basis. So they pay daily or pay monthly depending, right? So yes, that can make it so difficult to hire. I spoke on transportation, which also affects them. Another thing in Lagos is the hustling scam thing that happens a lot. People try to take advantage of people and call it, you know, say we get sense. Now, who gets sense is who has sense. So you have to be very careful. Yes, you have to be very careful. Example, if you're going to the market and you're like, I want to buy curtains, there are 100, like, people are there, like, you want to buy curtains, okay, let me take you here. They know that place is not good quality, but that person has promised them money. So there is this thing. So you have to really refer to people that have been here. Like, you know, when I was doing up my house, I had some guy in the market. He's quite reliable. So if anybody needs his details, you can DM me. He's quite reliable. So if I want curtains, things like this, I would just call him and he will buy them for me and send them to me. Because when you go there, everybody, especially like if they see you have an accent or you're a foreigner, they will up the price. By foreigner, I'm saying like maybe if the person is Igbo and you're Yoruba, the person is Yoruba, you just see that people don't speak the same language, they will up the price. There's this hustling thing that happens. You know that even taxi drivers do it. You agree, especially why I don't use a particular app, because they say that in that app you negotiate the price. So whatever you put, so the app is built in such a way that it was amazing, right? It was built in such a way where if you want to go to Lekki, you put like, this is how much you're bidding, 6,000. If it's okay by someone, they will accept it. If it's not, they will offer a higher price. You guys will go back and forth, like in terms of clicking which one works. Someone finally takes it, comes to you, looks at you, realizes that you're going to work and you're late. They'll say, that money will not work. Oh. But it's not fair. You already came here and you know that this person, you took advantage of the fact that the person is running late. So that's hustling thing of calling it like, we are smart, but you're scamming people, is a part that I really don't like. Another thing about Lagos is that there are so many time wasters here, so you have to be careful. Yes, so many time wasters, and that's why sometimes I don't even blame like the people that pay, that ask you, like agent that ask for inspection fee, because they will know, somebody will know that they are not ready to buy something, and they'll call you and say, oh, I want to go and view a house. They know they're not ready, and they'll tell you to go and view they want to view the house, and that day they'll just ghost you. You know, people don't value people's time. Like you have an appointment for 3 and someone is stepping in around 5. I'm talking sometimes you want to hire someone, someone's coming for an interview and the person is calling you to tell you that you have an interview, you want to interview someone at 11. Person's calling you at 12:30 to say, sorry, I'm running late. No, it was for 11. Like I always tell them, if it was an embassy appointment or they said, come and collect a certain amount of money, you do anything to be on time, right? So they have a lot of time wasters. So what I always tell people to do is that ensure that if you can charge like a deposit for something, charge for your time, do it. If not, people will waste your time. Another bonus I wanted to add is the dating scene. Be careful. In this Lagos, you just might be dating your friend's husband. You just might be dating. The dating scene in Lagos is crazy. They say there's no love in Lagos, but there's actually love in Lagos, but you have to be really careful. Yes, so much happens here when it comes to the dating scene. And that's because of how big it is. It's big and small at the same time, where it's like people know your business, but they don't know your business. Like in the East where I come from, right? It's so easy for you to, where I was coming from, like I'm from the East, I'm trying not to confuse you guys. I'm from the East, but what I mean is that when I used to live in the East, I lived in Enugu, right? Everybody knows everybody, somehow. If I want to get info on someone now, it's very easy. So if someone is coming on you, I want to know, are they married? Do they have what they said they have? It's really easy to find out, to track them. But Lagos, someone can have an entire different life. Like I've heard different dating stories here. Someone that was dating for 4 years, dating a married man who has an entire family. The man was promising her marriage and everything, and she did not know. Yes, I've seen people who their cousins relocated and said, okay, stay in the house, and they'll come up with this whole thing and pretend like the house is theirs, their business is this, and you fall for it thinking that, oh, this is their life, and just realize that no, this person was lying the entire time. So you have to be careful. For me, what I try to do is like when it comes to my circle, I always make sure that I know someone that knows someone. Like I don't just talk to random people, if that makes sense. I always have to know either I know your sister or your brother, I know you from somewhere. You can't just come from thin air and I don't know anything about it, and not through you. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like I don't know your sister, because some people will even claim that their girlfriend is their sister, but it's not true. So watch Nollywood, they will explain it better. And last but not the least, careful. Lagos can be very expensive. Lagos nightlife can be very expensive. So if you're coming with like, oh, I want to enjoy myself, know how much you have and know what you want to spend, right? And it can be expensive and crazy at the same time, because I know like this lady mentioned the story that was quite scary. She and her friends were drinking, and I've heard something like that quite a few times. They were drinking and then these guys came, they had their own table and they were like, oh, should we join yours? And they're fine. So the guys joined their table, and they were ordering drinks and things like that, now taking pictures, Instagram, having fun. Before you know it, one of the guys pretended like he was on a call. The other one said he was going to the bathroom. Before you know, she was alone with her friend and this table filled with drinks. They were waiting, the people didn't come back, and she was like, okay, let's go, let's just pay for our own. No, thinking that it's been paid for. So they called and they were like, no, it hasn't been paid for. Okay, so what do I pay for? I don't know, because you guys, like, how you buy bottles and you share bottles. So it's not like, oh, I ate this food or I did this. They're like, okay, can we pay for the things that you guys served us before they joined our table? And the guy was like, the person serving them was like, oh no, we thought you guys were together, because we are vibing together, gisting. And that's one thing they do. Like if I go to a restaurant with you and you're going outside, even if you haven't paid, they won't stop you, because they assume that I am still there, because we're not used to splitting bills, right? So they will just assume that I am still there. So they will just assume that maybe I'm paying, so they will let you go knowing that I'm there. So that's how these girls were just stuck with money, and that they did not know how it went. Like those guys just never came back, and there's been stories like that. So you really need to be careful when people like approach you in clubs or when you go to restaurants, like even if it's with friends, so like if you're placing orders, because in Nigeria we're not used to splitting bills. So if you're going with your friends and you know that everybody's paying, like make that obvious to the person taking your order, because we're not yet used to them coming, like abroad they'll say, are you guys all paying? Or they'll ask all those questions. But here they're not used to it, so they'll just bring one bill. Even if you pay 200 on the table, they just assume it's one person that is paying for everything. So yes, if you want me to do more video tailored to Lagos, because this is where I live and where I've lived for a while, please let me know in the comment section. And remember, please don't forget my disclaimer. Remember, why they are negative, they're always, there's so much positive things about living in Lagos, Nigeria. I enjoy it, I love it, I make videos about it, so please do well to check out my other videos. Thank you so much and love you.